looks, Dave, it looks like plans have changed for us. It looks like we lost Christina with her laptop. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. As you guys know, with my esteemed guest tonight, it's Dave Schrader. You may have seen him on Travel Channel, or you can watch him on Discovery Plus. You can watch the shows Holster Files and the Devil's Perch, right?
Yeah, Holster Files and Ghosts of Devil's Perch. And I also did the documentary called Curse of Lizzie Borden.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I watched all three of those. Well, I watched two of them. I didn't watch the Lizzie Borden one again because I actually forgot until you brought it up. I'm getting old. It happens, I guess.
I'll forgive you this time.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad that you actually said, yeah, I'm going to do this because I've been wanting to pick your brain on I know, right? On the paranormal.
Not much left, man. It's like a Pez dispenser. I'm always dealing out chunks of it to somebody, so I don't know what's left, but we'll do our best.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're always doing something. You got your podcast as well, Paranormal 60, which you just about come on about every single day.
Well, no, I'm on my show is live Monday and Wednesday nights on YouTube. And then I've been doing a lot of guest spots on other people's shows. And then Christina said, if you don't show up on Sid's show, I'm going to release the pictures you've been sending me in private. And so I decided to come.
Well, I'm glad I popped in just in time, apparently.
Should we kick him out just so we can bring him back and say that he showed up but didn't show up?
Oh my God! It died again, the internet. So here I am.
That's what that's what we just said that to us. It looks like plans have changed because I was going to have Dave come on right after you introduce ourselves, but that all changed due to that damn internet. Spectrum, you can kiss ass.
It's optimum.
Or whatever the hell that is, then that explains it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody who's tuning in. We try to get some of the people say hello to them. Hi, hello, Irene. She's all the way from Japan. She's got a show as well. She does. I can't think of the name of it right now, but leave it to me. Talon, good evening to you, buddy. Diane, welcome to the show. Facebook user, hello. We got Carla. That's a new person. Hello to you.
Carla's your mom? My mom. Yeah.
She was giving a heads up too. She's like, I hope Christina will get her Wi-Fi back. Right here, actually.
Yeah, no.
If you guys know who Christina is, you're from East Coast Paranormal, right?
Yes. I have a team called East Coast Paranormal. And we're based out of Jersey, Pennsylvania, and we do have a Maryland member as well. And we've been doing this for a little while now. I've known Dave for like 3 years now.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, hey,
how'd you guys meet? Like one of those conventions? That's how you guys met?
Yeah,
she was at the strip joint I was working at that night at the Chunkendale Dancers, and she was she had a whole roll of quarters, and she was making it hail.
She was the one tipping you, huh?
Oh my God! Did I have horrible mental images, and I just can't.
Like it can get worse. The night is still young.
That's right.
I know anything goes on the Sid show.
To be fair, you're right.
Wow, the way you said that sounded a little. Wow, what a Sid show this has turned into.
Just wait. If you go back to see some of these other podcasts that I've done, I've interviewed well over 200 music bands. It's really where I kind of get my thing, and then I do a lot of shows in the pagan community as well. But I decided to kind of start branching out a little bit more and start making these more for everybody, not just exclusive to just music or just the pagan community. And I started reaching out to people like you, Dave, to get you onto the show. Because, in the pagan community, this stuff is like huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to see if I got any kind of balls and even message this guy to get him on the show.
It's just Dave.
Congratulations. It seems your balls worked fine and brought me to the show.
Well, one of them finally dropped, to be fair.
Well, I mean, if you want, you can have Dave bartend for you at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash this year, right?
Yes, I'll be happy to do the bartending.
Wait, aren't you one of them? Isn't it you, Sandy? No, you're not doing it.
Am I? I don't know. I agree to things, and I'll just get there, and they'll tell me what I'm doing.
I know Batman, Santiago. There's a few people, but I thought you were on the list, but maybe not.
Probably. No, it very well could be. I agree to a lot of things, and then I show up, and then they remind me what I'm supposed to do. Yeah.
I never know what I'm doing. I even write it down on a board, and I still seem to fuck it up.
Did you ever see that movie Memento? Yeah, see, and with the Post-its everywhere. It was Christian Bale, right? No, not Christian Bale. I'm sorry. That was that machinist or something. Anyways, yes, that's me at work, especially. I have Post-its all over my desk. It's absolutely terrible. But what are you doing, Charger?
I can't. I'm bored. Anything. I mean, I got the board sitting right here. It's got all the radio shows that are supposed to come in from a radio station. The shows that I got lined up, and I don't know why I don't even look at them.
So
why write them if you don't remember, Sid?
I know. So Dave, you got another busy year ahead of you, huh?
I'm trying. Yeah, I like to get out and travel and see the world, so I spend a lot of time out doing just that. Last year, I got to go to Egypt and Germany and Prague and England, and and then I was all over the United States. I think I hit about 12 states last year. I think I was gone a total of 40 weekends for the entire year.
Exhausted just listening to you.
Is it just something that you're personally doing as like vacation time, or is it stuff you're doing for shows or something?
I like to call it vacation. The law calls it evading my sentence, but whatever.
He was doing events.
Right, I was doing events. Live paranormal events.
I want to go to Romania so bad, bad.
I think we're planning on trying to visit Romania for Halloween in 2025 to go on the Trail of Dracula.
Oh,
yeah.
I want to do it. I want to do it.
I've gone to Romania.
I have money to do it.
I will tell you this. It is far and away one of my favorite places to visit. I've done Romania, I think, 5 or 6 times now. It's beautiful. The people are very sweet, very nice. I mean, the food lacks a little, but overall, it's a decent place. And boy, you could live like a king. Podcasters, we could live like we're real millionaires over there because our money goes pretty far in Romania. So it was well worth it. But just the history and the whole paranormal angle of that country is pretty remarkable as well.
Oh, I see.
I've never been out of the States yet.
Briston, I got a bunch of people saying hi. I can't see Tim. Tim's in here. I got a lot of people saying hi. Hello, everyone. I can't see. I gotta click over and see the freaking comments, and I can't.
Why?
Your two faces.
Why do you have to do that?
Because I'm on my phone. Because my internet's broken.
So let's talk a little bit about.
I get a little worried about Romania though, because I have celiac. I can't have gluten, so it's like I am like, how do you be like, no wheat?
Actually, they're big on meat, so every place we go, it's sausages everywhere. So just that's what goes on. No, but I feel your pain on that. Having a very dainty United States Constitution as well. When I go overseas, I'm very cautious with what I put into me because I want to make sure that stays. Yeah.
What's up, Ray? Yeah, so that's awesome. That'd be really cool. I would totally be up for Romania. I've been meaning to get out there, but things have been a little crazy in my life with 4 surgeries in like a year. But
maybe if you was able to save some of that money you was making instead of tossing it at Dave at the strip joint.
Don't tell it, Dave. You blew our cover.
It was only a quarter at a time. She's very cheap.
She was throwing nickels. Hey, get you some, Dave. Yeah.
Quarter? That's being generous. But yeah, so he does the. I know you do your events, the conventions and all that stuff too. But you're doing some investigations with the public as well coming up too. I saw you're doing Hillview.
Yeah, I'm doing Hillview Banner, and tickets are still on sale for that. They've got some, I think, VIP tickets and investigation tickets that are available. Love to see people come on out. I'm going to be at the Shanley Hotel, be doing an investigation there with Scotty Davis, the medium.
Oh, Scotty!
Yeah, we've got a couple of events coming up at the Palmer House Hotel in Minnesota. I'm all over the board this year, and it's a lot of fun. So if anybody out there wants to join me and wants to get off the couch and get into the game and see the paranormal firsthand, go to darknessevents.com darknessevents.com. That's darknessevents.com. And as you scroll down the page, you'll see all the cool places I'm going to be. And for any of you adventurers out there that want to go overseas with me, I'm going over to England in September. And we're going to be doing a tour with Neil Story, the haunted historian, and myself. Really amazing bus tour to a lot of crazy haunted places. And part of the tour is we're stopping at the Festival of the Unexplained, the UK's premier paranormal conference. So you get a chance to do a paranormal tour and a paranormal conference in the UK. And it is the only place overseas that you'll be able to meet me, Shane Pittman, and Cindy Kaza from the Holzer Files all together under one roof. We're only doing 2 appearances together this year, one in the United States, one over in London, in England. So those are your best opportunities to come out and see us.
When's the last time that you guys all been 3 together?
I'm sure it was sometime last year. I think we hit one conference. All 3 of us were there, but it's hard because Cindy's on the road a lot with what she does and filming. She was with the Dead Files last year, and then she does her she's genius. She's a great marketer. She does gallery sessions at comedy clubs on their nights off. So that's why she's picked up the nickname the co-medium, because she's always at comedy clubs doing these things, but she's not a comedian. She is funny naturally, but she does gallery sessions in comedy clubs around the United States, and you can look her up, Cindy Kaza, Kaza, and find out where she's
she is one of my favorite mediums.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost eerie how spot on she's on. Like when I kind of like rewatch the Holzer Files again, just kind of update myself. And when she goes into these investigations, and you sit outside and you let her go in there and let her do her thing, it is fucking eerie.
Yeah,
how spot on she is on all that stuff.
Well, what's really kind of interesting is you guys are just seeing the focused parts that adhere to the story that we're following. She throws out a lot of other information that at first, I remember the first episode we did together, I looked at the director and I'm like, she's nuts. She sucks at this job. She's not picking up anything that is related to this file. And he's like, yeah, I hope she starts hitting on stuff. Then I go sit down in front of the historian. And as I'm doing my question and answer with the historian, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to throw out some of these weird, obscure things Cindy brought up. And I start bringing them up. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't even realize. But yes, the second owner of this house was actually a circus clown who killed 3 gorillas in the backyard. And you're like, how did we know that? So it's just like the craziest, but it had nothing to do with the main story. So we had to remove it. But she would just, and that's tough. I give her so much credit. You're going into these locations that are in some cases 200 years old. And you're asking her to sift through 200 years worth of
history,
residual history there, and find the story that we want to deal with if that spirit's there and wants to talk. But she has to go through every page of the book to get to that. And it's crazy how many times she's like nailing stuff that's all around the other families.
You can see it in her
face. She has to make her way through that.
You can see it on her face after you go into the investigation. You come in and you kind of like give her confirmation on what she's saying, or you guys are sitting and having a conversation with a story, and she's just completely surprised, like, I told you.
Yeah,
it's cool to see. And you watch. There's so many of these paranormal shows out there. When I watch them, I kind of look at the people's expressions, the looks, how much of it is part for the show, how much are these people really surprised. You try to look for little things, because I'm like a half. I'm a skeptic, but yet a believer at the same time too. So I look for mannerisms a lot.
Well, let me let you in on something, Sid, because there are a lot of you armchair detectives at home that are watching shows and picking them apart sometimes about, oh, that looked fake and that didn't look right. This is what I will tell you. We are not actors. And there are going to be points on the show that look like bad acting, and that's because that is what you're getting, is bad acting. And the reason you're getting bad acting is while you and I are talking, all of a sudden Christina pulls up on her Harley and you hear blah, 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 outside. And then that interferes with our interview. So they're like, wow, that was great. Dave, can you do that reaction again? When Sid told you that the guy that used to own it was a circus clown who killed 3 bears. We need that reaction and sound again. So then we do have to react a couple of different times because of sound problems. Maybe somebody coughed in the middle of us saying something. So there are those moments, and that happens on every paranormal show. So don't be too harsh. when
I'm
it
not
looks
harsh.
like it's being fake. Because
I get there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes, and there's
yeah,
going to be retakes and reshoots, and let me try this again because something's in the background messing things up. I get that, but you also, I guess, being part of being a skeptic is also you want to see both sides.
right.
As you know, like for me, for instance, like if you put me in a dark room, I'm going to hear something. Because I'm mentally going in there, fucking okay. I'm going into a dark room. I'm chasing something in here. What's going on? I'm already freaking myself out.
Well, you'd think that, but you know what? Once you kind of settle in, Sid, you do. And it depends on your disposition. Listen, I've I've gone to a lot of large events where I have to do ghost hunts with people, and I can tell you who the problem children are going to be up front because as we're sitting there getting ready, I can see that one person in the audience is kind of looking over their shoulder every 3 seconds out of fear that some ghost is going to sneak up on them. And there, of course, are always the ones that while we're in the middle of the investigation are jumping out of their skin at every sound. So it's why I always try to convince people, don't come in with a sense of fear. You're going into this place because it's haunted. So that should already be removed from it. Doesn't mean you can't get shocked and a little freaked out by it from time to time, but try not to walk in that place of fear. And you do get used to that feeling of being there.
You say that like it's easy, Dave.
Well, it was for me, but I raised 11 children, so I'm used to all kinds of horrors and terrors.
I've gone on myself and do trails. What I like about the shows, like with your show, there's an element of you're giving a little bit of history, detailed history, what's going on, and that's one of my favorite parts of the spots that you're investigating. I'm actually getting to hear the history, what's going on, why is this place haunted, what's the reasons, and you guys go dive deep as much as you can. You go to historians and all that good stuff. I appreciate that. There's other ones where they just go in there and every house they go investigate, there's demons everywhere.
Oh, well, God.
It's your perspective and your belief system, though, right? And everybody has a different level of tolerance. Like, so you said you might be the jumpy guy, right? And then I'm the guy who tries to be as stoic as I can through this. And then you've got Christina who's seen it all. So something that would freak you out might make me uneasy, and to her it was nothing. She's like, really?
I'm like, lock me in the scariest, most desolate place by myself. Where's the most haunted spot of this location? Just leave me for an hour and come back.
That's because of the different levels of what they're walking in with fear-wise. So I always tell people that if you've got that fear with you and you bring it with you, it can settle you down. And I try not to be that person. But some of these shows they have, and to their credit, the networks a lot of times are like, well, no, we like that you're going into places that have demons. That's where the ratings are. Everybody tunes in to see what you're squaring off with. And the places they're going are notoriously known for having dark manifestations, demonic-like activity. I was lucky enough that when I did Holzer Files and the Ghosts of Devil's Perch, there were times we were scared shitless, and they never made me say it was a demon. And there were times Cindy and I'd be like, wow, that's like bordering on the demonic. And they're like, do you think it's a demon? Maybe. I don't know. We've got to figure it out. And they were cool with that. They didn't, okay, but they liked that sound clip of us saying that sounds demonic, or that appears demonic in nature, because that's a good little sizzle part for them. But then they allowed us to just let the story breathe and evolve and show what the ghosts were really there for. And many of them just wanted to be heard, respected, and allow their story to be told for the first time the right way. And I really take a lot of pride in both of those shows, because I think it gave us an opportunity to air out on the side of the spirit realm and give them kind of the focus as opposed to the people.
Well, yeah, and so many times people are like, "Oh, demons, demons, demons," or like they associate getting scratched or something like that as something negative. I had my buddy get bit at Penhurst, and that's the only time I've ever seen it, and it's probably the only time I'll ever see it. And we all had listen, I never have the O face, but I had the O face. All of us were like, like we just, and it happened. I mean, oh my God. And he was just like, ow. But anyways, the spirits at Penhurst, some of them are mute. Some of them, they were notoriously known to bite. One of the people one of the doctors was known to, as punishment, yank their teeth out and stuff like that. But you don't know, this could have been a mute that they didn't know how to communicate. They didn't know how to get your attention other than scratching you or biting you or getting. So I don't feel like, getting pushed, getting scratched is always a negative interaction. It's just not. And that's great that you had, people like Cindy to work with that, because I'm not sensitive. Like, if I get like a weird vibe or something, this place is active as hell, because I usually am like, what the hell? Like, like I need to see a ghost do a jig in front of me to be impressed,
You have to have a ghost to jig in front of you to be impressed.
That's how you impress me. And so, it's hard.
So gentlemen, if you're out there looking to woo the lovely Christina, it's going to take some jigging. So make sure that you're up for a good old-fashioned jig.
Cheese, coffee, and bats.
When I was younger, I've had a lot of, the problem with me is that I ask myself how much of what I'm experiencing coming just from a mental standpoint, or how much am I experiencing from a supernatural or paranormal point. I've had a lot of encounters. I've been attacked by shadow people. But then on that side, I had they would say it was sleep paralysis. So it's kind of like, okay, well, I've experienced something different, but yet you're telling me this is what I'm experiencing. So there's always that flip of the coin for me. And when I was younger, I used to go to a Pentecostal church, and it was a regular thing for them to bring people up there and do exorcisms. And I took part of those a lot during my teenage years, watching the pastor do what she does, and no stakes required on that one. It was just one of those where they anoint them, oil them, and they sit them down, or lay them down, put a red cloth on them, and then they spend a lot of time just praying. But I have seen physically demonic entities coming out of these people, and it was, for a teenager, it freaked me the fuck out.
See, I'm like one of those skeptical types, though. It's like, okay, it's a teenager. They're easily impressionable. They're looking for attention. These people are telling them they're possessed, which is also, some points that were brought up in.
Now, when they did it at this church, it wasn't like something they would do during service. It wasn't like they were just picking random people out of the
okay,
crowd.
So it's not like you see on TV, hallelujah, you see.
No Benny Hinn or whatever, that Kenneth Copeland shit going on. None of that.
Okay.
None of that going on. It was more like the family would come, talk to the pastor, and then the pastor would say, "All right, Sid, you want to come with me? We'll go to the house and we'll see what's going on." So I got to experience that stuff at a really young age. And what was really extraordinary is that back in the day, there was a lot of male pastors, and female pastors really wasn't a thing. So who mentored me was a female pastor, but she would treat me just like if I was her son or her grandkid. She said, "Come on, I'm going to show you stuff. I'm going to teach you stuff." And I was all about it.
Very cool. Not a lot of people get that mentorship. So it's good that you were able to get that and take from it what you needed.
But I never knew exactly what it was. Still to this day, I'm still, even though I've seen stuff like washer and dryer lids slamming, dryer doors opening and closing. They say that if you hear someone call your name and there's nobody in your house, don't answer back, stuff like that. But I also dabbled a bit into like Satanism, stuff like that. I performed rituals and stuff. So, but I did that as a teen. So who knows exactly what the hell I actually was doing back fucking 35 years ago.
I mean, I went to Catholic school up to 8th grade, so it ripped like the organized religion like right out of me. I was like, done, don't care, don't. So and people always ask, like, I mean, are you a religious man, Dave? Like,
I'm spiritual. I went to Lutheran grade school until 8th grade. Through 8th grade, and then I went off to regular high school. But I too fell out of love with church because of that. And then I have nothing against organized religion. It just isn't for me. But I have a very strong faith in God and in Christ. I take that with me when I go to investigate. I try to do prayers for the location, for the spirits that are at unrest, and for the humans that are there. They don't show it often on the TV shows, but I will tell you, I was very impressed that I think, they allowed me to do it a bunch of times on Ghosts of Devil's Perch and a couple times on Holzer Files. but we have to be cautious because you don't want to upset too many people. And when you bring in religion, which is so funny to me, people get all bent out of shape if you start bringing in
Get all out of shape
Christianity,
over it.
but they're all in on demons. And you're like, well, but we got to call on something to deal with this.
Yeah.
And so to me, I can't call in Buddha or Muhammad or because I don't know that religion or that ability. So I just call on God. That's what I do when I'm in these situations and I want to try to help. And again, I never take the credit for myself that, oh, well, yes, I cleared. I've been in places and I've done clearings with prayer through God, not through Dave Schrader.
I can dig that.
Yeah, people always ask me, they're like, well, you're not a religious person. How are you like a paranormal investigator? Like it kind of goes hand in hand. I'm like, it really doesn't. Like the whole religion is just a label and names for things. It's universal. Yes, I mean, I guess like I'm a spiritual person, but I'm kind of like, oh, if there's a heaven or hell, like, I'm not a shitty person, so I don't really have to worry about it. I don't have time to go to church on Sundays, and that's me too, being a skeptical investigator. I refuse to believe in something I can't see, so if that's why I said I'm hard to impress when I investigate, because I need like to be sure that that wasn't a freaking raccoon that got in that broken window down the hall in Penhurst. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to, and a lot of people get very frustrated investigating with me because so many people want to just believe that everything's paranormal. And it's just like, like there's animals wandering around and it's windy and it's cold out and your temperature gauge is probably like, so it's so hard because I've done public events also too. And you really have to like be real careful when you're doing the public events with people, because you don't want to offend them, because some of them are just like, they want to believe so bad. And like there's a tangible, I'm one of those jerks. I'm like, well, it could be something, but it might be this also, like, because I refuse to let someone like completely, I won't fake. If I know there's an excuse for something, like I will not fake it for the sake of sheer entertainment. Like I'll say, okay, well, maybe that was paranormal, or it could be this, and you can kind of.
Well, a lot of people, when a lot of people out there, when they watch these shows on Travel Channel or Discovery Plus, they see every episode activity happening, and so when they go out to these live events or they go out and do a haunt themselves, they don't have experience anything, and so they want to see something every time they go out and do an investigation, and that's not reality.
It's like fishing. I mean, how many days do you spend at a location, Dave? 10?
Yeah, well, not usually that much. It's usually 5 to 7 days that we're there doing stuff and filming. And that's what I always try to tell people and temper their expectations. If you go on a ghost hunt with me, we might capture something. I'm pretty good at getting EVP in locations if there's something there that wants to talk. So you have the opportunity to stand there one-on-one with me. You can put your hand over my mouth and you ask the questions and we get recorded responses. So it's pretty remarkable. And I like that. But I also tell people, you realize you watch an hour-long show. And if you take all the evidence and experiences we had and add them up, it comes to about 10 seconds on that episode. So, you're lucky that we're even getting that. So it's tough and people really want, but then there are great places like Hillview Manor. Man, I couldn't believe how off the charts that place was. I was getting EVP like crazy and really good responsive EVP. In large groups of people standing there watching me, and a couple of guys were filming me and live streaming it, and you could hear me ask the question and catch the answer right on camera. So, you're right. You have to temper the expectations. And I've learned being an entertainer in the field that, I will try to pepper in critical thinking, but I also understand that for some people, this is just the beginning of their journey, and I don't want to throw the wet blanket on them. So I allow people to, I remember those moments of excitement when it started, and had somebody killed and snuffed out that excitement up front, I don't know that I would be here today. Yeah. And it slowly builds, because I do think that the more positivity and the more you bring and manifest and intend to have these experiences, the more you will have those kind of experiences. And like I said, it doesn't mean that when we film an episode of Holzer Files, we're in a location for 5 to 7 days, and out of all the thousands of hours of filming that we do, it pares down to 47 minutes. And out of that 47 minutes, there's 10 seconds worth of evidence. And it might be the same piece of evidence. They just replay it 4 times. So it's hard to say. But when I'll tell people, yeah, that's interesting. That's a great catch. What I would do is now go back in that room by yourself and try to get it. And if you can capture the same noise, the exact same sounds, I would start looking into, is there something in the room creating that noise? Is there, and then give them that. And then when they come back and there wasn't, we did it for another hour. We didn't. Okay, cool. I don't
different then.
Yeah. I like to give people the opportunity to get that vibe going and get excited about it. And I feel bad because then there are times like Christina, you and I could be in a haunted location leading the investigation. Somebody comes up and plays an EVP for us, and we forget it's their first EVP, and they get and you and I are like, oh, cool. And to them, it's like, what the fuck? This is amazing.
I remember my first EVP. I remember. Speaking of, what do you use? What's your go-to recorder?
I use my Panasonic DR60. It's
of
kind
course
of
you do.
The holy grail. Well, I've used other recorders and I get EVP, but the responses I've gotten from the Panasonic are really remarkable. And when we've been in, you can't, I can't deny it. It gets great EVP. And people say, well, it's recording the internal sounds. It's a digital recorder. There are no internal sounds. Oh, it's recording stray radio frequencies. Well, when I ask, did you die here? Yes, murder is a response. That's a really random piece of audio coming from a stray radio frequency that just so happens to align with me saying that. I was at the Palmer House last year doing an investigation in this guy Raymond's room, and the ghost of Raymond does not like women. And he had women in his room all night trying to do all these experiments and trying to get Raymond to jump through fiery hoops. And he was not happy. And at the end of the night, it just got down to me and like 3 other ladies. And I said, Raymond, I know this must be frustrating for you, and I'm sorry. I'm not trying to exploit you. We're just trying to communicate and show that there is something going on here. So thank you very much for your patience and understanding, and I'll get everybody out of here. And there's this pause, and then you hear this voice go, thank you. And I mean, it's clear as day. You're like yeah.
I feel you. Like I had a friend that had a DR60 that I spent a lot of time with, and I have one of the Zoom H4N Pros, and you can hear a mouse fart on the other side of the freaking building, but I've never caught a single EVP on that thing.
That's why I tell people don't go with the super expensive recorders. And here's a couple of reasons you don't realize. Most people will buy it and never open the owner's manual and don't realize all the capabilities it has. And in a lot of these really expensive $100 or more recorders, it has internal software that gets rid of hiss and gets rid of noises we're looking for. So if it's a whispery, it's going to erase that because it's thinking it's a breath or it's a hiss, and it takes it out. Whereas with the junkier $20 to $30 recorders, we get some really stellar EVP with it. So I don't think you have to spend a lot of money to get good results. So I tell people, you want to know the best tool to take on a ghost hunt is your cell phone.
I use my phone now. It's
got camera. It's got and you can actually buy plugins. You can buy the thermal camera that plugs right into your phone.
I have the FLIR. Yep.
Right. So you've got a FLIR camera, regular camera, night vision camera. You've got an audio recorder. You've got you can put different apps on here. And I'm not big on a lot of apps. And one of the apps I use is the Necrophonic.
That's the only one I use.
I was so skeptical because to me it's like this. What a load of and then I got it and started just getting bonkers responses that were direct and full sentences that would respond to the. And like if I do it here and I go to a totally different location, it's not like I'm getting the same response that's just plugged in. It has to do with the location we're at or the spirit we're speaking to.
Oh yeah, I was at the Shanley with Scotty and a few people, and Scotty started praying, and we had the necrophonic going, and I swear to God, it sounded like it was gonna spit pea soup when Scotty started praying. Like it just it was just like, you know, your mother you know, all the I
Yeah.
know I can say that on your show, but I just feel
You
like
can
I
say
should.
whatever the hell you want on this show.
But yeah,
Your mother
it was,
wears combat boots in hell.
yes. Your mom cooked socks in hell. But yeah, I don't like apps normally, but I do that Necrophonic. I've had some pretty, you know, interesting things come, and like everyone watching, Dave, Sid, like all of our equipment is to be used with a grain of salt. It is a piece of equipment to, you know, back up your personal experiences. Like you really should do checks and
A lot of
balances.
the equipment, though, is really made out of just theory. Well, in theory, this should work, and in theory, that should work. But really, there's no like concrete evidence any of the equipment works, right?
No, but if you're getting, you know, the best was I was at Mid Orange Correctional Facility and I started getting like I felt like I stuck my like finger in a like socket, like all the hair was standing up on like my whole body, like I was just tingly. And I was like, all right, you know, you can like psych yourself out and give you chills and stuff, but like right after that happened, my REM pod starts going crazy in front of me. So was that like this like amazing like you know, you know, experience, no, but hey, that could have been something, you know, it wasn't just me like psyching myself out, like something made me feel that way that set my REM pod off as well, you know, so I don't think equipment is useless, but Dave, you come, how many people come on, I was guilty too, well, not really guilty, but I had cases of equipment, cases. I'd show up with cases of just expensive shit, and I
Like
sold
Ghost Brothers.
I sold my Ovilus 5B for a set of tires for my car. You know, I now I bring one little case. I maybe use one or two pieces of equipment because you miss out on so much personal experiences when you have your head buried in your freaking full spectrum
Well,
kit.
Christina, to be fair, though, a lot of times that experiences are happening is not even caught on equipment, just you catching it on your own.
Yeah,
So a
that's
lot
what
of
she
all
said.
that
It's
big
that
money-
personal
You
experience,
miss
and
it.
that's why I go with when I'm in. I usually just use a recorder, and because that allows me to be looking around my area. I don't have to focus on the recorder; it's doing its job. I can be looking around to see if something's moving. And there
Yeah.
are times where I'm standing in the spot where people always see the stuff behind me, and I'll turn around and face the opposite direction because sometimes when you're all focused in one area, you'll miss what's on the other side. And there have been times when we're doing EVP and I'll point to my eyes and then point in the other direction and tell people to be quiet, and they'll slowly turn around and they'll see the figure walking in the back of the room. And it's like, see, you got to keep your eyes peeled everywhere, and then don't overreact, don't flip out, don't freak out, just engage, you know. And that's what I've done in so many of these locations, just
I
trying
just
to.
be sitting there cussing. Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
We're gonna have
The
to
problem is you
Cindy-
do that and you're in some of these locations that, you know, you're connecting with ghosts from the 1800s and maybe early 1900s, and that's offensive words to them. They may not want anything to do with you and stay away because
That would be my. That, I
you're
would.
being
I would.
offensive in their home.
That explains a lot.
Think about it. I got invited to an antebellum mansion in I think it was Savannah, Georgia, not Savannah, outside of Atlanta, Georgia, to do an investigation with this team. They were so psyched to have me come and be a part of their ghost hunt. And I said, well, I'll just watch. You guys do what you do. I'm not here to lead the ghost hunt. I'll just watch. And they were not getting a lot of great responses. And they're like, yeah, boy, you know, we've heard so many things. And I said, well, can I make a couple of suggestions? And they're like, sure. And I said, well, all right, you're in an antebellum mansion. You're in a mansion that was at one time owned by this very powerful Southern man and his family. And when the North came through, they took over this house and forced him and his family to live in a little back house, which was very small. And they used this as a place, a base. I said, so they've already been pushed out of their house and treated poorly. And I said, and not once have you been respectful in anything you've said to these ghosts.
That's really key too.
Yeah. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And I said, all right, you're in here going, all right, Sid, if you're here, why are you here? Are you trying to scare people, Sid? And I said, what attitude is that? So they're like, oh, well, and I said, turn on your recorder. So we turned it on and I said, Sid, my name is Dave Schrader. And I want to, first of all, thank you for allowing me into your home. It's beautiful. I can see why you would want to stay
Thank
here.
you. Thank you.
And then I would just talk in that calming voice. And Sid, we don't mean to be disrespectful. It's just, it's so hard to believe the claims that are coming from here. Why do you stay? Okay. And they were like, holy shit, he got an answer. And I was like, yeah, you can get answers when you're polite and treating the spirit with respect.
That's the
Would
key
you
part from
want
the
somebody
get-go,
to
right?
talk to your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your grandma, maybe your
There are
kid?
people.
Yeah, you want to be respectful to them. Now, sometimes you get a boisterous dick ghost, and you can be boisterous and dickish to them. And sometimes they'll play along even more because they like that you're stepping up the game with them. I also think that a lot of the elements of a haunting are not fully realized personalities. Now, let's say something tragic happened to Margaret in this house. Maybe what's left there is that moment of consciousness when the tragedy occurred. And that's all that's left of her. The rest of it's moved on. This is just like literally a fractal of her personality. So that's why it's very basic in its understanding and way it communicates. It's very angry. And in that moment, everybody's like, oh, of course maybe it's angry because it just keeps reliving that moment of being murdered over and over again.
No.
We don't know what we're dealing with. So try to show respect and temper who you are to these beings. I've challenged spirits in very few places. And in most instances, when I felt like a complete and utter jackass afterwards. And I've gone back in and apologized. Even ghosts, if you watch the Holzer Files and Ghost to Devil's Perch, over 23 episodes of Holzer Files, I got knocked on my ass twice. Once split my back open. I got bit in the arm.
And as a matter of fact, I got clips of these times that it's happened on right here for the show tonight.
Oh, go ahead. Why don't you throw one out there?
Dave bust his ass.
Well, one of them one of the first ones I want to actually play is the handprint on the window. That fucking freaked me out because you didn't see that.
No.
As they was doing, then they go back to do the watching and get the footage. They come across, and I was like, man. And then you see the fucking fingers roll into the window. I'm like, no.
And that's a second floor window. And if there was a person standing on the other side of that window and they put their hand on that glass, you would also see a heat signature of the person. You don't. All you see is a hand and a roll on the glass.
Let's play this clip and we'll talk about it as soon as we get back.
Sure.
What he felt happen as he was sitting against the wall was a hand grab him by the side of the neck and pull him. But that's not all we captured. We were filming using a thermal camera. I'd like to draw your attention, as you saw the window, there was nothing out of place.
Right.
The thermal camera picks up on when there are variances in temperature. He just got grabbed and he stands up. Now the camera's turning.
A handprint. Wow.
Now what's really interesting about this is slowly the fingers start to roll onto the glass and appear. And look at this. There's nobody in front of the glass, and as you can see, there's no heat signature coming from behind the glass, pressing its hand against the glass.
I mean, what is going through your mind, Dave, when they're looking back at this footage? You're going, "I was in this room." Shane
I was thinking, thank God Shane was in that room, not me. Actually, and I'll tell you what, if you want to show that again, I'll tell you something cool. When you see a further away shot of it, look at the floor. You see two footprints.
No way.
There are what appear to me to look like two warm spot footprints on the floor. I brought it up on the show, but they were just so blown away by the hand that they didn't even show the footprints. And I'm like, but that corroborates it. It's like somebody standing in the room, putting their hand on the window, looking out. Yeah, play it again real quick. And like I said, you'll see it when they kind of pull back and you see the full room. Just look on the floor. You'll see two kind of white spots.
All right, let's take a look.
What he felt happen as he was sitting against the wall was a hand grab him by the side of the neck and pull him. But that's not all we captured. We were filming using a thermal camera. I'd like to draw your attention, as you saw the window, there was nothing out of place.
Right.
The thermal camera picks up on when there are variances in temperature. He just got grabbed and he stands up.
Did you see
I see them, yeah.
Yeah, there's two white hot footprints standing there. So that to me was pretty cool as well. And that had a great, Shane had a great response. And it was so funny because he's like, man, I look like a little bitch in that scene. I'm jumpy and spooked. And I go,
I'll be the same way.
I said, but had you not reacted the way you did, your camera wouldn't have panned and caught the window, and we would have missed it, man. Because you just had it lower. You didn't have it up pointing at the window. It's not until you stood up that you caught that apparition of a hand appear on the window. So it was funny. He gets so jumpy about stuff. But I was like, dude, your natural reaction is so perfect because listen, I'm walking in the footfalls of Dr. Hans Holzer, and the guy was stoic. He just didn't get spooked. And then we've got the medium, Cindy Kaza, or Ethel or Sylvia, the ones that Hans Holzer worked with. And I said, Shane, you're the connection between what's going on in the audience. You are the reaction that people would have. And once he kind of realized that, he stopped feeling so bad about being jumpy. And I go, just be who you are. Be that. Because I think part of the reason that we had good things happen too is his frenetic energy of always wanting to be there. He was balls in and ready to do this. But there was still that nervous energy. And I think that's what kind of amped up the space and the energy that we would encounter in these locations.
Well, poor Shane, to give a little bit of context to that handprint, you guys discovered it was a bookshelf there. And then right at the very bottom, you discovered that there was a hidden doorway. And you went to go put
that's a totally different episode.
That's a different episode?
Yeah, that's a totally different. That's the one when we were at what is the name of the house? It escapes me, but it was a house that was on the Underground Railroad. And we found the hidden room behind the bookcase.
This room is what 3 feet wide by maybe 3 feet wide.
Right, but that's not where he was. That was just a closet in the room that was where they kept this handicapped fella. So he was in the closet space of that because people had experiences in there. So that's where we put Shane. And just let me address this because I've had people bring it back up to me. If you've watched the Holzer Files, a lot of people think I'm like the biggest dick you'll ever see on TV because I send Shane to the scary places. Well, I just want people to remember we all go to the scary places and we're all alone at one point during the night.
Absolutely.
We only show the scene where something happens. So there were times when Shane had nothing happen, and I'm the one that got bit or shoved backwards
or shoved to the fucking ground. I mean, there was a few of those mans were like the one where you felt the gunshot and it boogered you over and you had to go to the hospital. I mean, that was pretty intense too.
Yeah, but I didn't at that time. Again, skeptic reigned. I didn't feel like I'd caught a gunshot. I didn't even know that part of the history at that point.
That's right.
When
my
we were
appendix just burst.
That's what I thought. I thought, shit, my appendix burst or something ruptured, and it hurt so bad, and it was like such a white flash of pain. It just dropped me to my knees, and I was like, oh God, I'm gonna die filming a TV show. It was really, that was scary as hell to me, and I was more terrified about the fact that I think I'm about to die. It wasn't until I got out in the fresh air I started feeling better. And then Cindy was raging, you're going to the doctor. And this was in the height of COVID in Butte, Montana, where nobody wanted to take shots or wear masks. And every hospital in Montana was overflowing and this COVID was running rampant. I'm like, I'd rather die out here than get COVID in the hospital. Let me just not go. And, Cindy was all over me. So they drove me to the hospital. I had to go in there. And then I'm so glad I went because I had such a great time with the nurses and doctors. As they'd come in, they're like, so what are you in town doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm here for work. What kind of work do you do? I'm in television production. Are you with that ghost show that's filming here? And I'm like, I might be. And they're like, I got to tell you the story about my house or my childhood home or this, this hospital's haunted. And then they would tell me all these great stories. And I would have nurse after nurse after nurse coming through and a couple of doctors coming in to check on me, even though I just had a doctor in 5 minutes ago. When have you ever been in a hospital that you've seen 4 or 5 doctors in the period of an hour? They all came in to see the TV guy and tell me ghost stories, and it was awesome.
I don't know, Dave. I've seen you get that. We may say poor Shane, but I've seen some where you've been pushed, shoved, thrown to the ground.
Yeah, you probably deserved it.
Oh, most likely. I'm sure my kids would agree with that. Yeah. But if you have another clip, I'll be happy to watch it and explain it.
Yeah, let's find another one here. The aggressive spirit that forces you to the ground. Let's take a look at this one.
Who's here?
Something doesn't feel right,
I
does
know.
it? Doesn't feel right at all.
Right here? Who's here with us?
Dave, it's really impressed upon you. Be careful. Yep.
No way.
As soon as she said that, it lit up.
Oh, Red.
That was a big hit.
That area must be so charged right now to be going off like that. Dude, you all right?
That came up the stairs at me so fucking fast. It was this dark mass, and I went straight back into the bathroom, and there's a toilet paper dispenser on the wall, and I caught my back and tore my back and my shirt open. So I'm laying there, and I'm like, oh my God. Shane and Cindy come running over. They're like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, I don't think so. I lost the wind. I'm trying to explain to them what just happened. So much pain. And then they're like, come on outside. Take your shirt off. We want to. And I'm like, I'm not taking my shirt off on TV. They're like, no, take it off. I'm like, no, I'm fat. And they're like, come on, let's just look at her. I'm like, no. So they said, fine, we'll just stay focused. And when I took my shirt off, everybody on the cruise like, oh shit. Because I have a tear about this big, a good 2.5, 3 inches long, and it was about 1/4 of an inch wide. They wanted to put stitches on. They ended up butterfly kind of bandaging me and wrapping it up. And then the funny part of that episode is we shot something out of order because we got a little late start. We didn't do the walk up to the house before the investigation. So we had to film the walk up after the investigation was over. And now I've got this huge L-shaped tear in my shirt from tearing it open on the thing. And I'm walking super stiff and rigid because my back's just killing me. So if you watch, like after we walk in the door, I'm totally loose and fine. But going up the stairs, they put gaff tape in my shirt to hold my shirt together. But as I'm walking up the stairs, I'm like Herman Munster. I'm all stock and as I'm going into the house. And then once we're in the house, I'm like, hey, this is cool. Because it's shot 2 totally different times. But man, did that scared the hell out of me and really hurt. That's why I always laugh. People are like, you're a bully. Look at what you did to Shane. I'm like, Shane got a little scratch on his elbow once. Once he got a scratch on his elbow. I split my back open. I got knocked on my ground. I got bit in the arm. I think I'm the one that's coming out of this a lot worse than poor Shane. But you know who started? Do you know who started the hashtag poor Shane?
Who?
Me.
You?
And we were doing the Twittering for the first episode, and they're like, would you guys live tweet? And I'm like, sure. So I go, watch what happens to hashtag poor Shane. And that caught on like wildfire. And then all of a sudden everybody, poor Shane, and then Dave's just a big dick. Look at what a jerk he is. He's always
What
making
a
him do
dick
bad.
that Dave is.
Yeah, they don't realize that.
Shane and little
I mean, it's
claws.
not saying I'm not a dick. I'm kind of a dick, but we all had to do what Shane had to do. So I just want people to remember the reality of that.
No.
And if you need a reminder on him getting shoved, here's another clip of Dave getting shoved around.
Yay.
These ghosts are bullies, I say.
Yes.
Let's take a look. Is that the
Same
same
one,
one?
Yeah.
Fuck. Never mind.
You recorded the same one twice? Nice.
No, I think I
Rookie
deleted the
mistake.
wrong one. I deleted the wrong one. Because I got a few clips up here and I want to kind of remind myself. But
Okay, well, the other one looks like this. So is there something here that and that's basically what it looks like. So
I'll
there
see
you
if I
go.
can upload it again and find it again.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
But I did catch it. I tried to get a few clips where it's shoving you around. That's
That's
not
good.
it.
You got
I
enough.
probably scared the bejesus out of Shane when I had to pick him up to bring him to one of the conventions from the hotel. I pull up in my purple Charger and it's like,
Oh, I got it. Hang on. Here we go. Let's take a look at this one.
some people are afraid of my driving. I don't
An
know.
aggressive spirit that forces Dave down. I think this is a different one. What is going on here?
Damn
What
it.
do you want from me?
There it is.
What do you want from me?
That's I don't get knocked to the ground there. I'll tell you what, this was at the conference house. We were in this underground area where they store wine and everything. and I didn't know what we were expecting, but I heard noises down there, and that's where other people had experiences. So when I'm in there, I had this was a really creepy experience, and this is because Hollywood was playing in my head. So go ahead and play it, and then I'll explain.
All right.
He's like,
What do you want from me? What do you want from Bob? You hearing the footsteps?
That's a different one. Oh my God. I haven't watched these episodes in a while. That was actually at this guy, Bob Mazziello's house. And we were in the basement. There was a kid spirit that was down there. And I'm not fond of kid spirits. Being a dad, it just wigs me out. So at first I was trying to get Shane down there, and then they're like, Dave, just go down. So I went down with the SLS camera. We caught it. So I went into that little back area with my camera guy. And as we're talking, you could hear something moving. And as I look, this kid comes like booking by, and I flip out and I roll backwards, and I go, so there's a carve out door, but then he's got like that pink styrofoam that you put in for insulation kind of in the doorway as well. And I go through it like the Kool-Aid man backwards. And I catch the wall with my fingertips, and my camera guy gets around me and he's like, don't move. And I'm like, what? I can't hold myself. And he goes, don't go back anymore. He's trying to get the shot. Behind me was like $1 million worth of collectible wine. So I was this close to going through the wall and hitting the wine rack and sending it over. So once he got the shot, he put his hand on my shoulder and pushed me back into frame so I didn't destroy $1 million worth of collectible wine. But that was a weird moment. That ghost didn't attack or do anything mean to me. It just literally flipped me out. Yeah, because I didn't expect it. You go in and I'm like, all right, all these haunting stories, this, that, whatever. And then all of a sudden something runs right in front of you and turns and looks at you. It is unnerving, man. It is unsettling as hell.
I tell you, there was another episode too. Sorry, Christine, if I interrupt you, but there was another episode where Shane was downstairs in the basement, and it was almost like he was almost possessed. He gets up, he walks up to the camera, he walks back, and he starts walking towards upstairs. You didn't see him. You was doing your investigation upstairs.
We called it the Michael Myers episode because
Dude,
he turns into Michael Myers. And here's the real creepy part is, you're right. He's down. He's in this basement area where something tragic had happened. And Shane's getting more and more agitated through the episode. And he could hear me upstairs. And he keeps saying, Dave's pissing me off. I just want to go punch him in the fucking face. I just want to go punch him. Meanwhile, Cindy's 3 floors up. And she's in another room. And all of a sudden she's like, I think a ghost is going to hit Dave. And then Shane is doing his deal, and all of a sudden he just kind of stops, and it's like something out of Blair Witch. And then he just stops and goes and looks up at the camera, and then they cut back to me in the one parlor, and they cut back, and you see the door shutting, and Shane's not in that room anymore.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting there, I'm engaging, trying to get this ghost to talk to me, and I'm trying to be quiet because in some of these locations they're so small. So Shane's in this house, he's in the bottom left corner. I'm in the middle of the house in the right corner. Cindy's in the top left corner. So we're kind of staggered. So we're not right on top of each other and creating noise. And that's why I sat still in that scene. So I wasn't walking and making noises Cindy and Shane could hear. I was just doing kind of EVP work like this, where I was talking to the spirit and trying to talk. And all of a sudden you see Shane appear in the doorway behind me.
Dude, that was fucking freaky as hell. His fists
are clenched, and I hear something. And they cut back to me, and when I turn back to the door, Shane's not there.
Not there.
What freaks him out is we had hall cameras that went out. You didn't see Shane come, you didn't see Shane go, and all of a sudden he's back in the basement.
I've seen those looks before. I've seen those looks before, and he something was in him at that moment in time, and he was just following whatever was in him's order, because it was literally like he was right directly behind you, and no sooner you turned around, he's gone.
Yeah,
gone.
Michael Myers. That's what he was.
Let's put a fucking mask, and the dude wins.
Hi, Mort.
So, another episode was pretty good too. One of my favorites is the one where it's the serpents with the dead table, the sacrifice table.
Oh yeah, that's the Stonehenge, America's Stonehenge up in
Ancient
New
Evil.
Hampshire.
It's the Ancient Evil episode is what it was.
Yeah,
That was pretty
Right.
crazy too.
yeah. And do you mind if I just take a second to mention, because I've got a brand new book out called Theater of the Mind: Tales from the Darkness, and it's a brand new book. It's a collection of real supernatural encounters. I've got 2 of my own stories in here, and it is a collection of alien, UFO, the Bloody Bones Man, a black-eyed kid story, ghosts, time slip, changelings,
Put that book
doppelgangers.
up on the screen again, Dave.
Yeah, so it's a really cool, fun little book that's full of really creepy stories called Theater of the Mind: Tales from the Darkness. And you can get a copy of the book signed on my website at paranormal60.com. So that's paranormal60.com. Just scroll down the front page and you can find the book there. Or you can find it on Amazon. I can ship internationally, but it costs as much to ship it as it does for the book. So I just encourage you to buy it on Amazon wherever you are in the other parts of the world. But if you're in the United States and would like a signed copy, just go to my website, paranormal60.com, and it's on the front page. And if you're in England and want to get out and do an investigation and be a part of a paranormal conference, I'll be at the Festival of the Unexplained, and I'll be doing a tour in England, and I'll have copies of my book there that I can sign. So you can find information on that at darknessevents.com.
Or the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash
Yes, I will have copies of the book at the Battlefield Bash.
for
Yeah.
us United States people.
Yes, and I'll also have a lot of aspirin and hangover medication because the bash lives up to its name.
It definitely, that's like the one event I really look forward to every year. I'm kind of excited or interested to see how it is at the new location. But Pam and Steve always do such a fabulous job every year, so I'm sure it'll be,
And we've both been so busy we never get a chance to hang out. But this year we get to hang out at the Battlefield Bash.
I
So I'm
know.
looking forward to it.
I'm bringing apple cider or apple pie moonshine, my friend.
Is it apple cider vinegar? No thanks. Bring the apple pie moonshine.
No, I'm a big hard cider fan.
Yeah.
So I usually do bring hard cider too. But last year I didn't drink. But this year, this is it. Yeah. Yeah.
I have heard a lot of good things about this Gettysburg event.
It's
Is this
awesome.
like, is there a lot of, I've never been to it. I just hear everybody talk about how great it is. Is this like one of the hottest spots here in the U.S.?
Well, Gettysburg is definitely haunted. It's crazy haunted. And you've got so much death and blood and sweat and tears that were soaked into the ground there. So I have had a bunch of experiences. One night we were out on one of the battlefields and we were talking. It was just me and a couple other people talking, and we weren't having any of the quintessential experiences. And all of a sudden flashes started happening. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And I grew up chasing fireflies. I know what a firefly looks like. These were like flash bulbs popping off. And we're like, what is going on here? And what we think we were seeing was musket shots going off. We think we were just catching that energy, that expulsion from the guns. It was one of the weirder experiences. And then I think the hotel this year is the Eisenhower Hotel.
And the Aspire, it's connected, And then Hoffman Mansion is right in the parking lot too.
Right. Now I was going to say about that mansion that I was there for an event, and they brought me in to do a ghost hunt in there with Jeff Belanger, and they had some of us paranormal personalities in there, and some people were upstairs, middle floor, and then we were relegated to the basement. And in the basement, there's a hole cut in the wall, like a crawl space area. And we're like, crawl spaces are creepy. Let's go in. So we crawled in, and a couple of girls came in. They're like, can we join you? We're like, yeah, we're going to do some EVP. So they crawled in, and all you can see, because it was dark out, you could just see the ambient light coming through. And all of a sudden a figure walks up and stands right in front of the hole. So you can see the silhouette of the head and shoulders. And I go, we're about to do an EVP session. If you want to come in with us, you can join. So the figure crawls in and crawls off to my right and is sitting in the empty space over there. Everybody else is off to my left. And we're doing our EVP session. We get a couple EVPs. We're like, that is so cool. Did you hear that? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know your name. I don't know who's over here to my right. Did you hear the EVP? And then finally one of the girls turns her flashlight on and there's nobody there. We all watched this figure standing in the little crawl space doorway, crawl in and enter the room with us. It never left.
Oh, that's
So
crazy.
that was a cool moment.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't have anything crazy when I was investigating at Hoffman, but I do remember trying not to die in the attic.
Was it because it was so hot?
No, it was just
Oh.
there's a lot of wood beams and not.
There were a couple of the places they put us at, like there's a famous restaurant. Is it the Jenny Wade House? That's like a restaurant.
Well, Jenny Wade is in a restaurant. You're talking about Farnsworth?
Yeah, that's it. Farnsworth House. We were up in the attic doing an investigation, and it was warm. I mean, warm. And I was up there for like 5 hours. I had probably lost 80 pounds of sweat. I came in looking all plump and Pillsbury Doughboy. I walked out looking like the crypt keeper. But it was so flipping hot up there and no ventilation. So yeah, but Gettysburg is crazy haunted.
Yeah, I mean Gettysburg. And you know what the weird thing about Gettysburg is? It's so haunted, but it's so peaceful. Like I would love to like move out there one day. To be honest with you, like it's just it's a nice little balance between civilization and like nowhere. Like you drive like 20 minutes, there's things, and then you drive 20 minutes this way, there's nothing. The Bash said it's like a 3-day party. There's a convention for 3 days. At night, everyone's partying. Every night, there's it's not like not saying anything bad because I love everyone else that does the expensive VIP parties and stuff like that. But you get to hang out with everyone like every night. Everyone's hanging out. Like, no one's hiding because they're too famous. You know what I mean? You can hear that guy's loud mouth from a mile away every night, And
I don't. What, Sid? I didn't even know Sid was there.
Wait, are you here? Are you here?
Yeah.
Wait, see, on my screen, you're here.
Now that's it. There I am.
I look just like Dave, apparently.
So it's like a big para family like thing going on.
Para family reunion. Yeah, it's
because a lot of us only get to see each other at the Bash every year, unless you go to NJ Para Unity. A lot of us go to that every year, and now there's Penhurst Paracon. But the Bash is just like big para family reunion every year, so it's definitely my favorite.
I'm also going to be out in Mansfield, Ohio this year at the Paracon that's going there. Yeah, Parapsychon, which is a very cool event, one of my favorite events. And it's a big place, and I love Mansfield Reformatory. That's where they filmed Shawshank Redemption and so many other movies. Yeah, and it's crazy haunted. That place always delivers. So I'm super psyched about getting to go back out there. And again, all the events I'm going to be at are at darknessevents.com. So you can go check it out, get tickets, come on out and hang out, and let's do some investigating together.
I got a question for both you guys. What would you say? Well, neither. Anyway, Christine, I'm going to ask you first. What is the most defining paranormal experience that you had that really just kind of shook you to the core?
I guess, the whole my friend Rich getting bit at Penhurst thing was absolutely mind blowing, but the way he reacted to it was so funny that it was like he was just kind of like, "Hey, who bit me?" I don't know. Me and my team were not like big like freak outers. Like we're kind of just like, "Wow, this is really cool." Like keep a calm, cool, collected head and keep on investigating. But the one only, and I'm hard. I've been going to haunted houses, like real and not, the haunted Halloween one since I was a kid. And we go to those. I'm the first one in front. Like I don't scare easily. But I was at the Shanley, which I only live like an hour and 20 minutes from. So I frequent there. And I was staying in the Rose Room, which is the only room that has its own bathroom because I have to wake up 80 million times a night to pee. So I usually, if I have an option, I usually stay in the Rose Room. And this is like my 4th time staying in there. And, the year before I stayed in there, I had something walking around that bathroom all night and the door was creaking. And I just stood there and I was laying there and I'm like, all right, we investigated all night. There was nothing really that went on. And like, I'd stay in that room like 2 more times like before that. So I knew it wasn't a normal sound for the room, But fast forward to this experience, and you had mentioned something about this earlier. So I was trying to fall asleep, and I had my little full spectrum cam facing the bathroom because I had activity there the year prior. And I remember waking up like an hour later, and I looked and my camera was dead. And I'm like, whatever, it's one of those like Sony handy cams that are like rigged for, full spectrum. I'm like, those batteries don't last that long. So we try to go back to bed, and then like around 5:45, 6-ish, I woke up, and my friends, one of our youngest members of the team, he was like 18 at the time. He was sharing the room with me, and he was passed out. And I wake up, and I try to sit up. I can't sit up. And I swear to God, I could feel like pressure, and like the bed flex, like if someone was just holding you down.
I had that experience.
And I couldn't move, and I couldn't scream. I went to yell for Anthony. I don't know how long this lasted, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, no idea. And finally when I came to, I don't remember waking up. So I came to, I was like, what the hell is that? I've never suffered from sleep paralysis in my life. Was I sleeping? Did I dream this? The Shanley is an extremely active location, so anything is possible there, Hey Wes, what's up? The skunk sprayed. I love you, Wes. But yeah, I woke up, and I came to, because I don't remember waking up. I just remember being awake and just kind of being able to move again. I put my sneakers on, I put my sweatshirt on, I went down to the common area down in the kitchen, and I waited there for about 3 hours for the rest of my team to wake up. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell just happened. Like, I don't know if I was conscious, if I was unconscious. I don't like. I've stayed there numerous times since. I've gone there numerous times since. It's not like I'm terrified to go back, but that was like my first experience of having something like that happen. So although I was startled, I was kind of like at the same time like, oh, that's what I'm here for, to have these experiences. It makes me, more, knowledgeable. But that definitely spooked me a little, because that's the first time I've like really ever had that happen to me, and it's the only time. And the Shanley, a lot of people have a lot of stories similar to that there.
Yeah, the Shanley's really a great place, man. I love that place, and I can't wait to get back out there.
Yeah, Shanley is definitely, I love it. And then Stephanie, and everyone, Kelly, everyone's great there. I mean, it's such a great location.
I had a similar kind of experience when I talked about at the beginning of the show, where people said, well, it could be sleep paralysis. I had something exactly very similar to what you experienced happen when in my childhood home, because I was in the basement, and I remember distinctly wanting to get up out of bed. I had to go use the bathroom. As soon as I tried to get up off the bed, I felt something jump on top of me, throw me back down on my bed, and then I felt like two different shadow people hold me down, and it took a minute for them to actually get me back up. And as soon as I was able to get up off the bed, I shot straight up her, used the bathroom, and landed right on my sister's bed. And she's like, what are you doing? I was like, look, I just experienced something that's going to fuck your mind, and I don't want to talk about it right now. I'm shook. And I just laid with my sister. It was like, that was my protection at the moment, because I was freaked out. I was like, because I was hearing something in my ear telling me, don't let him go. Like it was talking to something else. And I was like, no. And I'm trying to invoke the power of Christ. Like, you have no power over me. You can't hold me down. As soon as I couldn't even speak. It was like something had over my mouth where I couldn't say anything. But when I try to tell people about it, they passed it off as sleep paralysis. And I'm like, it's no way, because I distinctly know that I was getting up out of fucking bed to go piss. No sleep paralysis. What about you, Dave?
Sleep paralysis? Is that what you were dealing with?
Apparently.
Probably, one of the most powerful moments for me is one of the most subjective of paranormal experiences. It was a dream visitation for my grandfather. So he came after his death, came to visit me in a dream. It was hyper realistic. I remember the dream better than I'll remember this interview. That's how clean and
concise, just like everybody else.
It was. But and that's no slight on you or this interview, but I'm just saying, it's got that.
That's why I agree with you.
And my grandfather said a few things that when I woke up and told my mom about it the next morning, I said, I had a dream about Grandpa, and I explained what was going on. She said, you know that the information you gave me is correct, right? That your step grandmother was married twice before. And I never knew that. And he had given me this information, and I was sharing the information that I brought back. So I was able to kind of prove that I spoke to my grandfather. So that was to me really powerful, and it was closure that I needed.
That is really powerful.
Yeah.
I've been having similar experiences like that as well. I just lost my oldest son. He was 27 when he passed away. He overdosed.
So sorry. And
so I have there's moments where I have a hard time going to sleep at night because I'm thinking about him and stuff like that. But there was one night, it was like a dream, but I maybe it was more of a dream, but it was more like an envision or him trying to talk to me through my sleep. My mind is the quietest, I guess, when I'm sleeping. So he figured he'd try that way first.
Right.
And I seen him standing at the end of the hall with a white wife beater on, and it was standing there like he was looking at something. And then so I was like, Cody. So I get up, I start walking towards him, and then he slowly turns around and looks at me and goes, just Dad, it's not your fault. I love you. It's not your fault. You tried. And then when he turned and walked through the wall, it was a picture of his memorial paper from the funeral when he passed away. But it was something that he was trying to communicate with, but I still to this day have not really picked up on what the message, because it's been 3-4 times where he's took me to direct locations or direct something to show me something, but I never have put the pieces together yet what he was trying to say.
Yeah, it's a powerful experience when you actually have a dream visitation. So I don't dismiss them summarily. It could be the way of the brain just trying to deal with grieving, but when you come back and know things and see things that you shouldn't have known, that to me says something about the experience being more than just a dream or a desire coming true. But with that said, my friends, I do have to get going. I want to thank you so much for having me on and having the conversation tonight. And if people are looking for a good book, I'd call it good bathroom reading. Each story is good for a sit down. Theater of the Mind, Tales from the Darkness. It is a wide variety of real supernatural encounters that have happened to people just like you. And the book is available at my website, paranormal60.com, or you can buy it on amazon.com. And do me a favor, if you do buy the book, first of all, heartfelt thank you, but also rate and review the book, because on Amazon, the more ratings and reviews it gets on Goodreads or Amazon, the more they expose that book to a wider audience. And that's how you can help out authors with books that you appreciate and like. So, Sid, thanks for having me on. Christina, it's great to catch up again, and I'll see you again soon.
Christina, thanks again as well, hanging out with me tonight. You guys have a great night. We're going to end tonight's show with one song before I go, because I like playing music. That's my thing. This is Royal Lynn, 6 Feet Deep. You guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you guys next Wednesday. Thanks again, Dave. Thanks, Christina.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.